You feel groggy. The air about you has a slight chill. It smells of wet soil and decay. Slowly waking up, you sense you're in a new place, not where you were the day before. You're situated on a moss-covered stone, surrounded by marshland. There are birds darting from the trees, snatching up bugs, as the sun casts a bright red hue across the sky. Off in the distance, you hear something splashing in the water and the clanking of armor. Hello there, I'm Nina, and welcome to Morium. This is the world I have started building based off of the daily dungeons that I have been making since the beginning of this year. We're world building, something that could fit into a TTRPG, and now we are looking at some creatures you might encounter in this world. Somehow, you have found yourself in the marshlands, a foggy, boggy mess of a place, and off in the distance, there seems to be someone or something. But before we set off, I would like to introduce you to issue 1 of Moriel Mag. Now, Morium is the name of the world I'm building, and Moriel is the name of the magazine that I want to be creating and releasing for people to enjoy. It houses all of the things that I have been learning on this world building and game making journey. This first issue will be set in the marshlands. Now, what you hear off in the distance is what is known so far as the basket heads. But in order to know more about them, I want you to know their creator, the Harpy. The Harpy wasn't always like this. A time ago, her name was Morin, and was a woman who lived among the willows of the marsh. She had spent her years mastering the craft of weaving, and was well regarded and cherished for her skill. On the days where she spent her time soaking long bows of willow by the creek was when she often had a companion. A great blue heron had always spent time close by her side. Morin had woven baskets set as traps beneath the water to catch fish, and the silent, shadow-like bird would stretch out their long neck and snatch up the fish and lizards that would have otherwise escaped their fate within the woven traps. There was a silent connection between the two, and they spent years together. Her weaving by the creek, and the heron wading through the water and moss. One day, Morin came to the usual spot and found the heron thrashing in the water. Something had struck the being and sent it from the sky and into the creek. Rushing to the aid of her companion, Morin picked up the bird and found that within the mess of blood and feathers, and deep within the breast of the heron, was an arrow. Blood rained from the mouth of the poor creature, and it gasped for air between frantic contortions of pain. Morin witnessed the life leaving the eyes of the great blue heron, and in her despair, she cried out to the gods to help her save her friend. Who had done this? Why would someone shoot down such a noble creature? While these questions raced through her mind, a knight of the citadel stepped out from the bush and bramble of the marsh. With a grin, the knight lurched forward. There it is. That beast has been stealing food from the scriptorium, and as sure as my arrow flew, I knew I could take it down in an instant. Rage filled Morin as she dug her fingertips deep within the down of her fallen friend and gave out a deafening shriek in disgust and anger. The gods heard her calling. Mud-soaked Morin felt a change within her. She will trade her life for that of her friend if she can exact revenge upon the killer. All around her, the earth shifted and shook, consuming the two. The blight has come to make another champion. The heart of the heron would beat the same as Morin. They would be reshaped into a singular being. Bones broke and sinews stretched. Morin, sodden with anguish, clutched her companion close to her and gave in to the change. The birth of the Harpy. The new being shook off the parts unwanted and emerged from the blood-soaked mud and beat its wings for the first time. The knight, witnessing the change, had fallen to the ground, stunned. The Harpy, still possessed by rage, locked sight upon the doomed knight. It lunged upon the man in an instant. Her new hands wound themselves around his neck as she gave out a shriek that deafened and destabilized him. Like a dandelion clutched between the hands of a child, she popped his head clean off. Would it be enough to let the man who took the life of her friend leave his own? No, she decided. He must remain on this earth and walk the path that the Harpy has chosen. A fishing basket nearby was snatched up and placed upon his shoulders. It wove itself into his collarbone and became embedded into the night. The Harpy made her first creature, the basket head. The Harpy will spend her days snatching up the knights of the citadel and turning them into her followers. They will dispatch her revenge upon all men that enter the marsh. And that, dear friends, is the story of the Harpy. I wrote more things, little descriptions and battle-worthy things to consider. She is repulsed by the world of men. The advancements made by them at the sacrifice of nature brings a rage to the Harpy. If adventurers enter her territory while wearing armor, they immediately become prey to the Harpy. She hunts by stalking them and waiting for an opportune moment. To break them down and weaken them, she will drop rocks and snakes onto them while traversing through the trees to keep her distance. As a skilled weaver, she also sets traps in the thicket to lure people into them. She does not attract people in with a song, but instead has a disorienting and deafening shriek. If an enemy is out in the open, she can snatch them up, if not too heavy, and fly high only to drop them on the ground or into a thorny bush or rock. If not attempting to kill, she then will seek to capture and convert into a basket head. Treasures are hoarded within her home, high in the trees and covered in the corpses of captured prey. She hoards objects stolen by other adventurers. Things left unattended often get spirited away into her home. If not in armor, she may just snatch up your backpack and steal your food. Her baskets and woven treasures are stored there too. If she catches you in her home, she's likely to eat you. I hope you enjoyed this. Thank you for being here, and I will see you in the next one.